All right, welcome back, everybody. HSC Podcast Sports. Big Box Steve on the mic, Big Smooth, and once again in the Knicks gear because we are in the finals wrap up this week, and the Knicks prevail. I mean, it's easy to say you predicted it when they're your team,
Well, we at the start we predicted them to make it to the finals.
right?
And when I even picked that, it was before they changed their offense and were like passing the ball like crazy. Um, but I looked at the East and I knew that they were going to come out of that. I didn't know if they were going to beat the Thunder. When they got the Spurs, I was a lot more confident.
That's interesting because I feel like they might not beat the Thunder either. I don't. The Spurs just being there that was tough. OKC really just it was a big letdown. But overall, I mean, first of all, let's talk about the comebacks. Let's talk about how much they were down over these four wins.
Well, I should have got the stats for that. But it's kind of funny. All of the Spurs, like everyone's like, oh, the Spurs dominated most of all the games. Da, 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 da. No, they didn't. They dominated the first quarter of all the games. And that's what it was.
Yeah.
The I think it was, and off the top of my head, I think it was like plus 52 for the Spurs in the first quarter. But then the second, third, and fourth quarters were all plus like 20 for the Knicks.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because you think about it, they were down as much as 28, 29 in the game, but a lot of them were 13, at least 10. So they were down double digits every game though, for sure. I don't remember the exact numbers, but they were all double digits.
Yeah, I don't think I got a bunch of stats, but never
Yeah, so
forgot to get that one.
obviously the big one, we talked about it before, coming back down almost 30, historical number one, but incredible when you're the team winning the series and you came back from down 30. That makes it even more incredible.
Well, they remember what the Cavs, there was like less than 8 minutes left and they're down 22.
Right.
So that was the thing is they even showed, clips of like Cat going, okay, it's okay. Let's just play our game. We can come back. Just chip it away, chip away. And that's all they did. Um, and I hate to be a Wemby hater, but everyone's like pointing the finger at De'Aaron Fox for like choking away. Dude, what did Wemby do in the fourth quarters of any of these games?
Yeah, he was hit and miss all series.
And in that game in particular, he taunts Mitchell Robinson, says, "I'm in your head."
Yeah.
And then he shrivels up and he couldn't handle the pressure in the fourth.
Yeah, they went to him quite a bit as well. So they gave him the chance in the fourth quarters, especially at the end of the games, to win those games or to extend the games. Overall, though, you look at his stats, like his stats look good because he had a couple, big games with rebounds and points together, but not a whole series. He didn't put together a whole series is the big problem.
Well, and that was, being a Knicks fan, I've watched all the games over again because I wanted to. And today I watched game five over, and they were running out um, Brunson, Bridges, OG, like Hart, and Shamet. And Wimby's not down in the post trying to score a bunch of points. And there was literally that was their lineup.
Yeah, that's not a very big lineup.
No.
So that's the thing is Wimby playing too much outside? Does he need, how will his game evolve into being able to recognize things like that where he should maybe turn into get some low post, get down on the block, be able to have a little bit of offense down there regular, where he's really good at it. He's got an outside game, but how good is his inside game? Is that something that needs to evolve?
The biggest thing that needs to evolve for him is his stamina. Because yeah, I forgot there was another stat, and this is for the whole team too. Their field goal percentage from the first quarter down to the fourth quarter like
Yeah.
drops drastically. And
There-
as I'm watching this, like it's game five. Um, you have to win to continue, and there's like 6 minutes left, and Wimby goes out for a minute or so to get a rest.
Yeah.
Dude, there's 6 minutes left. Play it all out. Use all your energy.
Yeah. At that point, that late in the series, like at that point, you really have to. But
And
they were playing a
maybe it
lot of minutes.
was. I really love the play when Brunson took it. I watched that play so many. When Brunson took it to Wimby, and he like dribbled by him, and then Wimby was like, "Ugh."
Yeah. So, we were talking about Brunson and that particular play. I was actually having a conversation about this, and this coworker was asking me, he's like, well, what makes Brunson better? And I actually use that play as an example because even though the idea of him taking it to Wemby is great, you watch how he does it because he understands basketball and spacing, and you watch him use his body to create space on Wemby as he gets around him, purposely slowing down so Wemby's body hits his, and then he accelerates again and creates that space to be able to just get enough over, Wemby's hand by a couple inches. You really have to understand basketball as a player, not just as a fan or somebody watching that, as a player to understand that what Wemby's reach is, even, right? Just imagine calculating all of that while you're going to the basket. It's not just him going and scoring. Like he had to do multiple things because he understood he had this huge guy with a really long wingspan on him. And that's basketball. So that's what makes Brunson better than, when you talk about that and people are like, well, why is he better Castle? Why is he better Fox? Why is he better than these other players? That play.
Right. And then it was all throughout the series. He'd be like going off his right foot instead of his left foot. And then, he just did a bunch of stuff that looks awkward, but he was doing the right angle. So he's using his body to make shots.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he did the one to Castle, or he just like slowed him down and then just drove right by him and scored.
Yeah. Well, obviously he was catching a lot of defensive attention. He didn't shoot particularly high percentages, especially in the first few games. But, he was still facilitating, which was great. And really, I think what changed for the Knicks is that, like you said before, you didn't know who was going to show up and who was going to help them. They struggled in games, but they always, found a way. They always kept, like you said, chipping away at it, but never were out of a game, even down 30. That's insane. That's incredible that you could be down that much in every game, but stay in composure, run your offense, play good defense. And then we won't even talk about, but we're going to, the lopsided officiating. So now you have that on top of you too, to where, like you said, the Spurs shot the ball pretty well in the first half of most of those games. One of the games being up 30 as well. So there's that part of it. And then they're kind of fighting with the officials where I'm not a Knicks fan. I'm not a Spurs fan. But you watch the game and you're like, why is this so lopsided on the officiating? Why are they calling this on one team and not the other team? And it's not just that, it's like you said before, the amount of space that they were allowing San Antonio to close, but not the Knicks. So they were able to play with their body. They were able to get a lot of body in when they were playing defense where the Knicks weren't.
Well, and then Towns was owning Wimby early in the series. So what happens late in the series? And he's in foul trouble all of a sudden.
Yeah, call a lot of fouls on him, right?
On game four and game five, right? Like in game four, he was two fouls in like a minute, the first
So it's
minute of the
not
game.
I mean, outside of like NBA conspiracy stuff, why was the officiating so bad?
I don't know because I'm like rewatching the games, and they have good like the Mikal Bridges getting poked in the eye. The ref is looking right at him, and it's like, how do you not call that?
It makes you wonder when you see some of the plays like that in particular, but they're
It's like
also
they call anything for SGA flopping all the time, but a guy gets poked in the eye, and you're not going to call it.
yeah, and so people have pulled some clips of back and forth of both teams missing calls. That's always going to happen, but like what you're saying, which is important, this is on ball, right? So the ref is right there watching it. You could pull some clips off ball and be like, "Oh, they're not calling it the same." That's not the same as the ref looking right at it.
Right? Yeah, because they're like, oh, it was a Colin Coward was like, oh, Wimby, he was getting harassed and held, and I'm like, dude, he was doing the same thing.
Right.
It wasn't like Wimby is an angel. He was holding onto Towns. They were both going at it.
Yeah, he was screening extra hard, but also with his arms and his legs. It wasn't getting called. So that's not something that I believe was called equally, where you saw the Knicks get some of those fouls. And Wemby's able to go and do like karate kicks on people's legs and doesn't get a call.
Well, that's where I think that is the biggest one is Mitchell Robinson gets a flagrant for trucking Wimby, right?
Right.
But Castle doesn't get a flagrant for trucking Brunson.
Yeah.
Wimby doesn't get a flagrant for pushing Brunson down the ground by his head. Um, oh, Brunson gets a flagrant for a closeout on a three,
Right.
but Wimby doesn't get a flagrant for the same thing.
The same closeout. Because you're talking about the landing space
Yeah.
flag.
And
Right.
the thing with the Wimby one is he was looking at where he was stepping.
Yeah.
It wasn't like Brunson turned around and stuff, but Wimby was like purposely, oh, that's where I'm going to put my leg to injure Brunson.
I wonder if, I mean, like I said, you could talk conspiracy stuff, but maybe, I don't know. How do you justify the refs at that point?
I don't know. It's like, how can you call one and not the other? That's the thing, is if you would have, I mean, seriously, Wimby would have had like five flagrants in this series.
Yeah, then he would be out of the series, which is, I can see some of the reasons for the later ones, right? Because they don't want him kicked out of games and suspended, which shouldn't be a thing, right? That shouldn't matter. Like if it's there, it's there. You call it one way, the right way, hopefully.
But it just says, oh, they're not going to call this on me. I can continue doing stuff.
Yeah.
Because like you showed the clip of him almost injuring OG
Mm-hmm.
in game four.
Well, that one, it's a little weird because you can argue that he was off balance, but the way he came in with his heel is unnecessary, even if you're off balance.
And it was just interesting. Okay, so game four, OG was having a great game. Game five, Brunson had 45. The rest of the team had like 49.
Right.
So it's like, oh yeah, we take Brunson out, we're gonna win this game.
That's a brutal way to think about it, right?
Just luckily no damage.
Well, I mean, the resiliency that they showed through the poor officiating, down double digits most of the games in the series, at least if not all of them. And they still closed it out in five. That's what's amazing.
Yeah, the people that are like, oh, the Knicks got lucky, the Spurs they just choked. Dude, it was 5 games. It wasn't like this went to 7. The Knicks
Right.
closed out in 5.
Yeah, the
And they went 3-0 in San Antonio.
in San Antonio. Yeah, it overshadows it when people talk about, that the Spurs were leading and the comebacks. When you think about NBA finals, when you close a team out in five in their home arena, like that's pretty brutal.
Well, and that's the thing. The Knicks went 4-0 in closeout games. They didn't let any series continue past what needed to be done.
Yeah, it should have been a sweep, really.
We didn't even talk about that officiating in that game.
Right. You know, I when we first talked to finals, once it was decided Knicks Spurs in that previous podcast, you know, we threw out the idea, at least I did, of a sweep's not impossible. But there was a point where going into game three, you kind of thought this might be a sweep.
Right. Well, yeah, because they won two in San Antonio. And you're like, oh, you're not going to. It's now New York and they're savage now.
But
But
that game three was rough. But yeah, we talked about it through the games of when the officiating started to get real bad and continued through it. But it was nice for the Knicks to, get it done early. That way they don't have to worry about it, stretch the series out, possibly go, back to San Antonio for a game seven. You definitely wouldn't want to do that.
yeah, what was here? Some of the stats I got. The Knicks had the best point differential for any single postseason ever at plus 283. The
Nice.
2017 Warriors were a plus 230. Um, yeah, so the Knicks were 16-3. They're the third team to win a title with 16 wins and three or fewer losses. And all four closeout wins were on the road. And that was the fourth team to do that.
Wow.
And since the merger, only two guards have ever scored 45 points or more in a closeout game.
Yeah. I bet
And
it's Jordan.
so, yep, Jordan and Brunson.
It's a pretty good chance most of those stats are Jordan when you start getting into those type of stats.
Right. And this is the other theory of why they wanted the series to go longer. Game five uh, had 33 million viewers.
Yeah, that breaks the previous, like, what was it, 29 million?
Yeah, and then on average for the whole finals, 20.6 million viewers, most since 1998.
Right. So yeah, you go to game six, game seven, man, you get a lot of viewers for those games. If you're already getting 30 million plus in game five. Well, I mean, you can't take anything away from the Knicks when you look at their whole playoffs, right? You could talk about, maybe they didn't look great in the finals. Doesn't matter. They still won. They got it done. But
I
their
thought the
whole,
Hawks were the
right.
team that beat them the most.
That's funny. Hawks aren't a bad team. They fell apart there, but they're going to be a good team. I like the Hawks.
Right. Well, and then the Knicks lost by 1 point in each of those games.
Yeah.
And it's almost like that awoken them.
Yeah, like, hey, we might lose to the Hawks here.
And then there was like they demolished the Sixers, demolished the Cavs.
Well, and this is what I'm about to say is when you look at the finals, you can make critiques, but when you look at their whole playoff, the run they had of the straight wins, and like you said, closing out all the games, every time 4 for 4. I mean, you can't argue that they didn't have an incredible playoff run.
And I'm not going to say greatest team of all time, but this is one of the greatest playoff final runs of all time. You'd have to put them up with any of the top of all time. Not saying, I'm like, oh, they're going to beat like the 2017 Warriors or whatever. But what they accomplished, they have to be put up there as one of the best.
Yeah, for a single season playoff, winning a championship, you're going to be up there with a lot of teams with the way they did it. Of course, you're never going to, like you said, comparing to some of those iconic teams as far as talent level, but they got it done. The only problem, for the argument's sake, is that the East was very weak. In my opinion, I thought the East was horrible.
Yeah, but think about what the Spurs did, right? They played the Blazers. Okay. Then they played the Timberwolves, who, well, Ant was hurt, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's not like the Timberwolves were that great without Ant.
I think he didn't play like one or two games, maybe.
Yeah, but he still wasn't the same.
Yeah,
And then they played the Thunder, where you had no Jalen Williams. And then, you had players hurt for the Thunder, and Chet just did not show up.
yes. The Thunder have a Chet problem now. You have to think about that, right? Going forward.
Well, and that was where you came up and you were like, well, I don't know if the Knicks would have beat OKC. Well, what is Chet going to do to Cat?
Right. Well, I think they have a totally different game plan. So I don't know how we wouldn't know how that would have played out. But if Chet didn't play against the Knicks, they would have beat him as well. So Chet, that's what I'm saying is they have a Chet problem, right? You rely on him for that, and if he's not going to get it done in the playoffs, you might have to think about, who else can we put there that's going to be reliable?
Right, because who's going to, I mean, if the whole thing was, oh, Chet is the Wimby, he can, I mean, because he's what? How tall is Chet? Like 7'2"?
He's 7 footer, seven, maybe 7'1".
Yeah, he's 7'1".
Right.
So,
But he shouldn't have had a problem against Wemby. Is that's ultimately when you watch him play, he played with no heart.
right.
He wasn't pushing for rebounds. He just wasn't playing very physical.
Well, and that's like, that was what I was saying is, Cat kind of had his way offensively when he could play on Wimby. Wimby is like everyone's like, Wimby's a great shot blocker because he's so tall,
And
but he's not a great one-on-one defender.
he's other people coming, right? He's helped defense is getting a lot of block shots.
Right, because he like Cat would just drive right by him. But
What
yeah,
about
I don't know what to do with, I mean, that's the thing. You're stuck with Chet. You're gonna have to pay him too.
can we get Giannis for Chet?
I don't think the Bucks want Chet.
Well, Giannis is going somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Why not
Blazers.
OKC?
Why not the Blazers, Steve?
Oh man, that's well, we could wrap up finals because that's a great segue actually to my topic. But hey, one last word you get. You get it in. Your team won. What's your last word on NBA? And we're almost done. We're done with the NBA for a while.
Yep. So first time in my lifetime, Knicks win the NBA championship. Screw all you haters who's talking trash. Everyone's better than Jalen Brunson until they have to play Jalen Brunson.
That's a great point. That is a great point, especially to those talking heads, right? All right,
Yep.
so you segued. Said something about the Blazers. My topic, I have to revisit the Bears situation, but we're not going to talk about that because we've talked about plenty. But this moving of teams, right, or moving of stadiums, building new stadiums, this seems like it's going to be a trend, right? Is this something that is going to pick up more and more? And the reason I say you mentioned Blazers because it sounds like they're having trouble with Moda Center now, right? And or just Blazers staying in Portland.
Well, I don't know about that. I think that it's just the Moda Center's old and needs renovations. I
Right, but they
mean,
always come in with that threat, though.
right. Oh yeah, because now you got the new owner.
Right, the four of them who are all rich,
Yeah. With
so they can go anywhere they want.
they just want a Stanley Cup.
Right. I mean, they can go anywhere they want. Is the problem? I mean, not that it was said in this specific context, but Green Bay, like when you start mentioning Green Bay possibly moving, now you're talking like things getting wild, right?
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, what you had, you know, I mean, one of it is it's a threat. Think about it. Like, I don't think the Raiders wanted to move to Vegas, but Oakland wouldn't help them out, so they said, "Screw you." Buffalo, they just finished a new stadium, right? But like, if Buffalo, they're like, "Well, maybe we'll go up to Toronto,"
Yeah,
and that's the thing. Is like you get all the like Chicago. Somebody, it's one of those where it's like, you might be tired of your ex, but someone will appreciate them more than you type of thing.
yeah,
And Indiana's like, give us the Bears.
right.
We'd love that.
Well, and that's why I'm saying is it's a trend now because other people, other cities, other states are willing to chip in and yet pay extra, what's really taxes. We're really paying for these moves, by the way, you know, because they're giving them all these subsidies, right? And to lure them in to say, yeah, come build here, we're going to help you out. And then you have cities like Chicago saying, well, we're not going to pay for it, right? Because you guys are already rich enough. And then so the organization's like, okay, well, I guess we'll just go over there where I'm going to get $300 million or whatever they're.
Right.
And so it looks like to me that a trend is forming.
Well, and it could be the politicians. It's almost like they talk about when in colleges you get like a dean or whatever who hates sports and then they don't care about it. And so then the programs just deteriorate because everyone's like, oh, well, screw that, we'll go somewhere else. And then the
Yeah.
school gets no money because that's what's happening. And that's what I think about Oakland. They lost the Raiders, they lost the Athletics, and they lost the Warriors.
Yeah. What else
How
you
many
got?
jobs is that?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is when you have those, there's arguments for and, pro, con, where one of them is around the stadiums, the businesses, the concessions, all of that stuff that comes, with parking, even that's all money for the city, surrounding businesses, and things like that, right? So when you lose that team, you lose that too. And then Chicago's idea is they're gonna do, music shows there, and it's like, okay, you're gonna replace the Bears with music shows,
Well, and that's the thing. It's like how many the Bears, that's a tourist attraction, right? Like Steve, if you're going to go to Chicago, you're going to go to a Bears game.
right?
So you're losing out on all that revenue from people coming in. That's why the Raiders moving to Vegas was so big is the Raiders didn't have to pay anything for that. And the city of Las Vegas is like, we're just going to put it on all the tourists.
Right.
And that's why the uniqueness of Las Vegas, they can do something like that. But Chicago's probably got a huge tourism too.
So there's plenty of tourism in Chicago, that's for sure. But yeah, I think I don't know. I'm not sure. This Chicago situation is weird to me because you could have kept them in at least Illinois. So it kind of feels like the state was just okay with letting them go. But when you see more and more teams start to talk about this, I guess that's more the topic is, are we going to start seeing this highest bidder, right? Of what city's going to give the most subsidies to get these teams to build new state, build them a whole new stadium. Now they're going into new state of the art facilities.
Well, that's what I said. people like Chicago, it's like, oh, we got the Bulls, we got the Blackhawks, we got the White Sox, we got the Cubs. Oh, we don't need the Bears. And Indiana's like, we'll take them.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And now Indiana's going to have two football teams.
Right.
And Illinois is going to have zero.
That's pretty wild, actually. Well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I'm brought that as my topic because I see a trend, and I think some few years down the road, as more and more of these older stadiums need either renovating or replacement, you're going to see this moving around to the highest bidder. It's going to be like college NIL for the teams. They're going to offer them an NIL contract to build them a stadium.
Right.
All right. Well, what do you got?
Well, now I'm kind of mad because um, the thing I thought I got in finals. Why does it say we're tied for the most?
Are we
This is
doing like a pick it again or
no, it was supposed to be stats, but um,
too many Knicks stats, huh?
no, so isn't Giannis? We keep saying Giannis. So maybe I'm wrong here, but um, most points took by players scored in the closeout game. Okay. Okay, so this might be it. Now the list is told it. Okay, so Brunson inspired. What is the top 10? No, because that's not right, because unless he lost in that. Interesting. Most points scored in a closeout game in an NBA final, in an NBA Finals closeout game.
Most points scored in NBA. I mean, I
Like
guess
one, like,
top 10.
yes.
So Brunson aside,
Right. Brunson is tied for third.
right. So Jordan.
And I'll give you Jordan. Jordan is on here twice. He's 4 and 9 or three
Wow.
and nine. Yeah.
Wow. So 1 and 2 are still out there, huh?
Yeah.
Are we dealing with how far back are we going?
One is from the 50s,
Jeez.
and one is really recent.
I mean, you would think LeBron's got to be on there.
LeBron is 11th,
Oh, wow.
40 points.
Not to go.
So it's basically here's a go 41 points and over is what you're looking at.
Yeah. I mean, imagine Kobe.
Nope.
No, no Kobe, huh? Dwayne Wade.
Nope.
Jeez. Well, Kevin Durant seems to be on everybody's lists, but he's never really won, right? I think it's just maybe Steph Curry then.
Nope.
Man,
Durant has 39 points, so he's
hmm.
like 2 points away. Um,
Give me some hints here.
you have seen one, two, three, four of them. But okay, so there's two in the 80s.
All right. Well, I mean, Bird, right?
Nope, not Bird.
Or Kareem.
Nope, not Kareem.
Jeez.
You're close with Kareem.
Yeah, it's got to be Magic, right?
Yeah, Magic. Magic is a sixth. Who was Magic's best friend back then?
Really? Isaiah Thomas?
Yes, Isaiah Thomas at 43. He is
Four?
fifth. Um, you said Kobe, but you didn't say
Jack.
Shaq had 41.
Yeah.
Um,
Didn't Barkley have a bunch in a closeout game?
no. So number 10 and number 7 were also Lakers, but they're old, real
Oh,
old.
Jerry West.
Jerry West is 7. And
Jeez.
and then this one, it's
Elgin
interesting.
Baylor?
He didn't win the game.
Yeah.
So he's never won a NBA Finals, but he was one of the most prolific scorers back then.
They played for the Lakers.
Yeah,
It's not Elgin Baylor.
Elgin Baylor.
Yeah.
He's 10. So now you are missing 1 and 2.
1 and 2. The closeout game. And these are newer.
And no, 1 and 2 are tied at 50 points. And
50.
yes, earlier in the show, we mentioned one of these guys.
No. SGA?
No.
No.
Think of guys that's like a one-man show that won an NBA Finals.
Let's see. Oh,
He's
Iverson.
no, he's a hot commodity.
They lost. Oh, Giannis?
Yes. Giannis had 50. And now this one,
Oh, that makes sense.
this one who also had 50 is way, way, way before your time. He played for the St. Louis Hawks. And he had 50 points, 19 rebounds.
Jeez. Yeah, I'm not going to get that one.
He's considered one of the greatest power forwards of all time, but he's an oldie.
I don't know.
Bob Pettit.
Bob Pettit. We already talked about Bob Pettit before. I should
Yeah,
have
I
just done
know.
Bob Pettit.
Bob Pettit. We got to give Bob Pettit respect.
Second time you've had Bob Pettit.
Bob Pettit, 50 points, 19 rebounds.
I should know by now. Go with Bob Pettit. Man, that's
Think
tough
about
one.
that.
Uh,
1958, he's scoring 50 points and 19 rebounds.
this is dominating. He's probably like a foot taller than everybody.
How tall is Bob Pettit?
No, I think it was actually only like 6'9", right?
Yep, he was 6'9".
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a one-time NBA champion, two-time MVP. His career stats, dang, this is why like old heads get mad at like younger generations, like older heads than us.
Yeah.
He averaged 26 points, 16 rebounds.
Dominating.
Yeah. So it's like when everyone's talking, oh, it's Tim Duncan or it's,
You're like
you
Bob
know,
Pettit.
it's Carl Malone or, Barkley or KG. No, it's Bob Pettit.
Yeah, but he couldn't play in today's game.
Right, because there's just a bunch of like what was it?
Plumbers and
Yeah. Just like JJ
construction
Redick
workers.
couldn't play in his day either.
Right. I don't. JJ Redick, it's funny. All right, well, we'll wrap up sports segment with that. So once again, Knicks NBA Finals champs, but you could still wear the Knicks. Actually, they won, so maybe you can't. I can only wear the Bears because they haven't won yet.
Yeah. Well, I did finally wash this after like 40 days, but because, once they started putting on that winning streak, there was like, no, I can't be washing this.
Yeah, everybody's got their superstitions, right?
Right.
All right, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time.